May I approach?
Yes.
There's a lady here who wants to give you flowers.
Oh, look at you. Brenda, you're approaching, you're bringing good news. I thought you were going to approach and say, may I approach? I don't have this evidence. Oh,
No, that's it.
thank you so very much.
So the dragonfly is actually just a little pick. You can take off afterwards. The pink rose, her name is Candy Expression, and the orange rose is called Free Spirit. We have stock and snaps and sunflowers and Gerber daisies and vernaculas and
Oh my gosh.
calla lilies
I
and
love every
tulips.
flower that is in here. Thank you so very much.
There's care and handling instructions inside.
Okay.
And we do recommend that you mix the flower food separately because it needs to dissolve. It's like sugar. And then tomorrow you probably want to add extra to it.
Okay. Thank you so very much. This made my day.
I'm so glad to make your day.
Thank you. Have a great one.
You too, ma'am.
Oh, they smell beautiful.
Yeah, they're just gorgeous.
All right. I'll tell you what, I understand the issues here. It appears that he may have been on a lot of drugs because I'm looking at his substance abuse history and it's marijuana, cocaine, heroin, PCP, LSD, meth, Xanax, Percocets, Ambien, fentanyl.
You on drugs?
So, if you all will step back, I'm going to think about this a little bit because I will tell you both. Part of my concern is this starts at the Home Depot. Then it goes, I think Home Depot, but it starts at a store with him trying to take things, knocking computers off. Then it goes from the store to then he enters someone's home without their permission, sweating profusely, pants down, grabbing their car keys and taking their vehicle. So just give me a moment to think about this a little bit, and then I'll bring you all back.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm picking the right date for it, so it's one of
Okay.
those,
See, I think you dress impeccably.
thank you.
I have it up here, Norman. All right, court is calling 2024 CR 6757, State of Texas versus Noah Gonzalez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar from the state of Texas.
Rolando Ruiz for the defense.
And are you Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Gonzalez, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Judge.
Did you understand the document entitled Court Admonishments? Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it at all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Sign it in all the appropriate places? Did you understand you're charged with theft of $2,500 to $30,000 of a vehicle as a state jail felony? Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. There's an $800 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication, and there's to be restitution, if any, to Daniel Chapa. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Judge.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 120 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Daniel or Samantha Chapa or their residents. Did you understand? Those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations.
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
I plead guilty.
State any evidence.
State offer states exhibit one in all attachments.
No objections for purposes of the plea.
All right, state you may be excused. Counsel in the box. If you could ask the deputy to just move your person down there to talk to them instead of behind the court reporter. Thank you. All right, did you review the document entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Just that the state follows the recommendation from the state and give him 3 years deferred adjudication, Judge.
All right, how old are you?
I just turned 18, man.
How far did you go in school?
Junior year.
All right, why did you drop out?
I had got kicked off the basketball team and I had dropped out. I'm currently studying for my GED.
Well, that makes no sense.
It doesn't.
So why were you kicked off the basketball team?
I was on varsity. I was in the bathroom while people were smoking. The police officer searched everybody in the bathroom. They didn't find nothing on me. I was rude to the officer, and my coach had seen that and he had kicked me off the team.
I'm sorry, what?
My coach had seen, like when he came in, the officer was searching us. My coach said I was being rude, so he had kicked me off the team the next day when I showed up to practice.
Yeah,
So I had dropped out.
I mean, I'm sure that was punishment, and that ultimately he probably would have let you back on the team. So you act as though it's the end of the world and ruin your life. And I say ruin your life, there's still a chance to pick up the pieces, but your answer to being kicked off the team is, all right, I'm dropping out of school. That's not good choices.
It's not. I also was working too. I just focus on my job.
You should be focusing on education, because what do you do for work?
For work, nothing at the moment, man. That's why
So
I'm
here you are,
focusing on getting my GED.
and all you have to do is complete school. Basketball is not the end of the world. And not that many people make it to the pros. And when I say pros, I mean, the National Basketball League. Sometimes you see people, they're real serious about it, so they end up international basketball. Maybe they get to play for one of those teams. But you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, and that's what you did.
Agreed.
So do you live with your parents?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do they say about all of this?
They're helping me to do better. They're really helping.
So how do you spend your day? Because you're not at work.
I'm in Brownwood. It's 3 hours up north. I'm with my father. He's currently looking for a job and studying on my GED. Ready. We haven't started the quizzes yet, but I'm studying everything for it.
And where is Brownwood?
3 hours up north. It's past Fredericksburg, about 2 hours past Fredericksburg.
Okay, and what county is that?
Brown County.
Browntown?
Brown County, ma'am.
Brown County.
Yes, ma'am.
Is he going to be asking for his probation to be
Correct.
transferred there?
Yes, Judge.
All right. When you break into people's cars, people don't like that, because that's something that somebody worked hard for it. They paid money for it. And if you want a vehicle, you need to work for it. Now, and what was the name of the person you were with that day? You said it was your friend. So who was it?
He goes by Clicker. That's
What?
Clicker. That's what
Clicker?
I call him. Yes.
Real name?
No, ma'am.
Never hang around with somebody where you don't know their real name.
Yes.
You understand?
I've learned that. Yes, ma'am.
And please tell me you don't have any children.
No, ma'am.
All right, that's a good thing. You're not ready for children. You're still growing. This is a deferred adjudication. So with deferred adjudications, I'm sure your attorney explained to you the benefit for that.
Yes, ma'am.
But the downsides of it is if you mess up, you're looking at 2 years at the state jail facility. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is what the court is gonna do. There's gonna be an $800 fine. That will be probated. 2 years deferred adjudication. We'll do a transfer to Brown County. There's gonna be restitution, if any, to Daniel Chapa, CHAPA. There's to be no contact with Daniel Chapa or Samantha Chapa. And it's on Cozy Run. And also no contact with the street Cozy Run. That's COZYRUN at 78218. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular random UAs. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Should be clear.
What do you mean it should be?
I shouldn't have nothing in my system.
All right, you need to speak up.
I shouldn't have nothing in my system, man.
Have you used before?
Yes, man.
What?
Marijuana.
There's no marijuana allowed while you're on probation. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
There's no alcohol while you're on probation. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to ask for 120 hours of community service restitution. 60 hours of those will be waived upon completion of his GED. And the remaining 60 hours will be waived if you obtain some level of higher education or trade school. Plumbers make great money. Nobody ever complains about what they're being charged by a plumber. My understanding is always going to need welders, but the welders I've spoken to, they tend to have a little bit of damage done to their hands sometimes from the flame. So those are some of your options. But if there's something else that you're interested in, I'll give you 60 hours for that because I want you to improve yourself. You understand?
Yes.
If they're able to do field visits, if we can have field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. And proof of employment within 40 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors.
Yes.
Probation, is there anything else?
No, Judge.
Is there anything else that you need from the court to be successful?
No.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed the plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. You understand?
Yes.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, to be successful on probation in this court, communication is key. Talk to your probation officer. If you're going to test positive for drugs, if you're thinking about using drugs, the best policy in this court, I don't know what they're doing in other courts, but the best policy in this court is to pick up the phone, call your probation and say, your officer and say, you know, I'm thinking about using marijuana. I'm thinking about taking a drink of alcohol. They'll reach out, try to help you. But if you don't call, we're going to have issues.
Yes, ma'am.
In this court, it's not better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. Always ask for permission. Doesn't hurt. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And the other thing, when you're out here breaking into people's cars, this is Texas. If somebody ends up shooting you, and I say this is Texas, but you can go to any state, Louisiana. I think a 12-year-old just got shot in the head, breaking into somebody's car. And you know what? His parents are crying, saying, he was just 12. I'm sure your parents will be crying. He was only 18. It's just property. That's what you need to realize. It's just property. It's not worth it. And your parents would have been crying on the news. You know what a majority of the people would say? Oh, well, he should have been taking what wasn't his. So here's my advice to you. Don't take what does not belong to you. If you want things, you have to work for things. And if somebody is inviting you to a party, make sure you ask for them, are you allowed to have a +1? If they say no, don't go.
Yes,
If you show up to a party and people ask you to leave, leave. Do you understand?
yes,
And I think in the words of Denzel Washington, you need to leave 30 minutes before the devil shows up. Nothing good happens after midnight. Don't be outside of your house after midnight.
yes,
Nothing good happens after midnight. You understand?
yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
Judge.
You're welcome.
Good with you.
Yes. All right, Alex.
My name is Happy. I upload courtroom video for education purpose. This video may contain copyrighted works not specifically authorized for use, but believed in good faith to be protected by the fair use doctrine under Section 107 of U.S. copyright law.